Oh, we got Chris already. All right.
All right, here we are.
All right, brother. We're just waiting on Dave to get on here and then we'll get started.
Okay.
I don't know where Dave is. It wouldn't be a show if there wasn't something wrong on Dave's end.
Yeah, we all have them.
Oh, all right. So while we're waiting for Dave, I guess we'll get cranking a little bit here. We'll get things rolling. So, welcome everybody to another episode of Pursuit Live. My name is Chris. I am the producer here. We are waiting on Dave. As usual, there's always something wrong on Dave's end. As you can tell, I am not in the studio right now. I'm coming to you live from Long Island City, Queens. I'm currently in my project office. Got to work tonight, so there wasn't any sense in going home. But we got a pretty good show for everybody tonight. I was looking forward to this, so this should be a good one. With us tonight is Chris Avena, president and founder of American Outdoor News. So, Chris, I want to thank you for joining us. What happened? Did Chris freeze? Oh, I think we lost Chris. Let's get Dave in here while we're waiting. All right, Dave.
Yeah, I think there's something else going on. You can't even get on Instagram.com right now. So
Oh, we got canceled all the way around. That they took down Instagram.
the powers at B are catching on to Friday nights, it seems.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're gonna try and get Chris back on here.
Yep.
So again, welcome everybody. We're I guess it's not Dave this time. It's actually Instagram. So I guess that's not such a bad thing. So we'll try and get Chris back on here in a second. While we got everybody, we still have raffle tickets available. We are past that. As I've said, we are past the halfway mark. I haven't done an actual count of how many tickets are left, but we are still commencing with our 2024 charity raffle. We are benefiting the American Bear Foundation, Wounded Warriors in Action, and the NYPD archery team. All the proceeds are going to these three great organizations. The prize package was generously donated by B&B Archery and Targeteers, and we thank them for helping us out with this. We're really proud to be putting this on. If you guys are interested in tickets, they are still available for a 2024 Matthews Lift with all the accessories: Delta McKenzie target, pop-up blind, arrows, broadheads, sight, rest, quiver, stabilizer, everything you need. So let's try and get Chris back in here. If you want tickets for the raffle, please contact myself or Dave.
Yeah, the biggest thing is it's a charity raffle. We did get a couple messages like, oh, so like what do you guys? How much you guys trying to profit from this? There's other crews trying to put together a raffle. Like, no, like that's like the complete opposite of what we're trying to do. Like, we just have certain goals as far as what we want to be able to donate to other companies. So that's the
There we
reason
go.
that 500 ticket marker is important for us. That's all.
All right, we got him back. So,
Chris,
ladies
what's up,
and
buddy?
gentlemen, finally joining me is my partner in lives, Mr. Dave Hawkins.
What's up, everybody?
Back with us once again, founder and president of American Outdoor News, Mr. Chris Avena. Chris, thank you for taking the time out to meet with us tonight.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.
All right. So, I guess we can kind of roll right into this. Dave, you want to take off a little bit?
Yeah. So, good evening, Chris. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, Dave?
Good. Thank you for joining tonight. I know we haven't had a chance to talk yet, but that's all right. You're going to lead off for me in this first segment here. So what we like to do is, obviously, we're going to talk business in the second half, but in the beginning, I like to reach out to the person that we have on, the guest, and we want the audience to know like who you are, like what's your background personally, like what do you do for a living, what got you into the outdoor space, things like that.
Uh, I am the publisher of American Outdoor News. That's what I do.
Fair enough. This one is pretty direct. I'll give you that. Yeah, yeah. Let's roll back a little bit earlier on though. Like take it back to your youth, if you would, and what got you outside? Were you always just hunting and fishing? Anything
Nah,
specific?
I was always outside. Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts,
Okay,
going camping with my uncle and my cousins, that sort of thing.
nice.
Um, my uncle took me on my first hunt, and God bless him, probably the worst hunter I ever met. Never, I don't ever remember him shooting anything, but he made the whole thing fun. Yeah, so
All
he
right.
got me into it.
Well, I mean, that's important. Whether or not he was successful or not, but he got you out in the woods, so he did the right thing, and he got another young hunter out there, which we need. We need so much more of that. We talk about that a lot. Even though it may seem crowded at your local hunting spots, the numbers overall, I think, are down. Would that be accurate? Have you read any reports about that?
Yeah, it has been down and it is declining. It's very important. It's our responsibility to get as many young people out as possible. Um, Otherwise, we don't have a next generation.
I agree. I agree. One of the things I bring up frequently, we have a lot of returning guests, and I'm sure they've heard me say it. If we have a world that doesn't have hunting or fishing in it, I don't want to be a part of it, or anything to do with the outside, the outdoors. Let's say that's one thing we really take dear to our hearts here at this show. We're just trying to keep the outdoors alive. Doesn't matter, is it mainly a hunting based show? Sure, but if you fish, you hike, you camp, anything, if you're doing it the right way, if you're mountain biking and you're on a team or whatever, come on, we'll talk about it. Anything that people do outside, they do it the right way, they do it respectfully. That's what we
Yeah.
really like to get into. So it kind of makes us a pretty versatile platform, and we enjoy being that way. That way every week it's a little something different. So for
Where are we
anybody
going?
that doesn't know, I mean, so obviously American Outdoor News, we're gonna dive into that at the business end, but was there anything in specific, like from your hunting journey or your outdoor journey, where you kind of connected the dots, like this was a path you wanted to go on, or was this something that just happened to develop just
You
over the
know,
years?
it's funny. I always hustled. I did mortgages. I flipped houses.
Okay,
I'm on my like ninth life here. So,
I like it.
but I'm sitting in my tree stand and I'm thinking, what the hell can I do to do this full time?
Okay,
And something, a name popped into my head, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And that name was See Me Hunt. And I eventually, after about a year, I put together a small social network for hunters. And, the platform's still up. I just don't do anything with it. But it was more of a hobby than anything else. It got my foot in the door of the industry. I got to meet a ton of people. Um, Everybody there is to know from the Outdoor Channel, manufacturers, retailers, and just a cool bunch of people. So when I started American Outdoor News, I was really able to hit the ground running because I had all those connections already and friendships and relationships.
no, without a doubt, and that's one thing. Chris and I and our other partner Rob, we just did what was our largest like outdoor expo. It was upstate New York and the Empire
Yep.
Show, and
Uh-huh.
we were talking about how important this is for like the brand. We each have our own individual brands, but within that booth, our main focus was this show, Pursuit Live, and it was funny. People walk up to our booth. We had a nice 10 by 20 space, even though there was three different brands going on. It was all focused around this one, and they're like, it's pretty interesting. You guys are willing to work that closely together. I'm like, and we all have that same mindset. Well, it's all about
Yeah.
connections. You know, especially in this industry. Like Chris and I have a construction background, so obviously construction background. It's who's shaking whose hand, who owes who a favor. But in the hunting and the outdoor industry, it really is just those connections that you meet from doing expos, shows like that, and then honestly just doing it, having the boots on the ground, just like being in the woods. So, like yourself, a seasoned outdoorsman, those connections, I mean, that's just having that digital Rolodex on your phone at that point is gold for you.
It really is. And you never know who's going to be in a position to really do you a big favor. And
Yeah.
uh, actually, the year I started the magazine, I had so many friends step up.
Right.
The publication would never be where it is without the help of friends.
That's a good, that's actually a perfect segue. I was going to ask you, you could either relate this to your hunting journey or, American Outdoor News. What's an early success story that you had, or maybe a troubled time you had getting it going, but you learned a lot from it? It was a very important lesson to learn, even though it was a little rough.
It's kind of funny. I knew absolutely nothing about running a magazine. Uh,
Okay.
ma- Magazine happened by accident, happenstance, and I stumbled and made a lot of mistakes along the way, but you
Sure.
learn, you grow, and you keep moving forward. And here I am rolling into my fifth year, and things are great.
Nice. And it's I mean that goes to anything in life, right? If you fail at one attempt, well, you learned how not to do it. You learn not to do it that way in the future, at least. So you always
You,
got to find a positive, and you learn. You learn from mistakes. You learn from success, but you can also learn a lot from your failures, and that, without a doubt, we can connect into the whitetail woods. I know a lot of guys here will say that. You know what? I got busted, but I learned a lot that night. So you
sure thing.
suck it up, you absorb it, and you keep moving forward.
Hey, Babe Ruth struck out a hell of a lot more times than he hit home runs.
That's it.
He just kept
That's why I
swinging.
love baseball. You can be 1 for 3. You're doing good. You're doing damn good, actually. If you go 1 for 3 your whole career. Um, I really think that's it for now. I mean, we're definitely interested. We really want to let people know, bring a little bit more attention to the magazine, if we can, and all the hard work that you've done to grow it and build it as a brand. So, Chris, I think I'm gonna tap you in, buddy. I'm gonna roll into the next section.
All right, here we go. So this is where we're gonna kind of dive into this, and I'll throw a lot of questions at you.
Okay.
First, I guess I want to get into your mind a little bit. What was really the spark that kind of gave you that inspiration to start American Outdoor News?
Well, it's kind of funny. I was speaking with a friend of mine. He wanted to buy a magazine. So we were talking to somebody about buying this publication. And he was asking ridiculous numbers. They were emotional numbers. When you develop something, you try and grow something, it's like your baby, and you think it's worth more than it really is.
Sure.
He was asking emotional numbers, not financial numbers. So I told him, I said, hey, I can do it for a hell of a lot cheaper starting it on my own. I don't need to buy a magazine. So he said, go ahead. I told him, hold my beer, and here I am 5 years later.
Good for you.
Okay,
FAFO to that
all right.
gentleman. So he found out.
Listen, any story that ends with "hold my
Yeah.
beer" is always. So I guess Dave touched on it a little bit with your early successes. Why don't you kind of just walk us through after you kind of launched your first issue? What was it like kind of running the magazine for the first year?
Wow. The first year was lean and mean. And fortunately, I didn't start it with a penny of my own money. I started it with advertising money. I was fortunate enough to get a couple advertisers that really funded the whole thing, and finding writers, having friends write for me, um, getting people to be on the cover, get the interviews. Um, it wasn't always easy. I had to, call in a lot of favors.
Right.
And, people guided me through the mistakes that I made. Um, not, asking really nothing for advertising, really a couple $100 an issue to start. Now, now it's a lot more, but,
Right.
um, you make editing errors, you make publishing errors, uh, you just stumble. It's gonna happen. Um, but
How
you
big was the
find.
staff early on, if you don't mind me asking? Was it like 5 people, 10
Oh,
people?
it's lean and mean. I did it all
You did
myself. I
everything.
I
Wow.
did the editing, I did the writing, I did
Wow.
the sales, I did everything.
That's
But
a lot.
then along the way, I was able to find people to uh, job it out. You know, they're all independents. They're hired by task. Uh, SEO people, editing, uh, cover design, ad design. Um, I have nobody full time on staff, so it's it makes it a lot easier. Everything's remote. None of my writers are in house. They're all freelance writers, freelance designers, and it's amazing what you could do with the internet these days.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right. So after you got off the ground with your first year, as you rolled into year two, year three, I know Dave kind of touched on lessons learned, but what were things you learned in your first year that helped you succeed in your second and third year?
Never give up. Just keep swinging, keep pushing forward. You're gonna stumble, you're gonna fall flat on your face, you're gonna worry about, oh my God, how do I get this next issue out? I barely have enough to get by. Um, and you just keep pushing, you keep picking up the phone, you keep dialing, you keep calling people for advertising. The key is revenue. Yeah, once you pick up that phone and keep revenue coming in, that solves all the problems. So smiling and dialing is a big part of it.
That's it. Chris and I and a bunch of us here were part of a business venture very recently, and it involved a lot of late nights for Chris and myself. Really, that literal midnight to 2 a.m. oil, getting up at 4:30 to go to the real job,
Yep.
and one phrase we always kept telling ourselves is just always forward. We'll figure it out. Just keep going. So that's definitely like that mantra, that mindset that Chris and Rob and myself, we all kind of reiterate that. You know, whether you're just having a bad day at work and we just shoot each other a text, or it's the middle of the season, just keep going. Always forward, man. Just keep going. Even if you get one thing done off your list,
You know,
that's it. Moving
you're
forward.
gonna get frustrated.
Yep.
You're gonna get nervous. You're gonna get the butterflies. You know what? Take a deep breath. Take a step back. Start again the next day. And I don't know. I've been pretty fortunate where everything always just seems to fall into place. So I really don't sweat the small stuff. I don't sweat the big stuff. It's gonna happen. You just got to know it's gonna happen.
I like that. I like that. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm a big believer in that.
All
Very
right.
cool.
So as now you're in your fifth year, looking back on everything that you've learned, if you had other than don't quit, if you had a piece of advice for anybody, not necessarily starting an outdoor publication or getting into journalism, but just anybody who's out there doing anything, whether it's producing a live show every Friday night, putting out five 5 years worth of magazine, or just the regular hunter out there posting his pictures online because he loves the
Don't
sport.
be
If you had
afraid.
advice, what would you tell somebody that is just out there doing it?
You know, like with anything else in life, don't be afraid to take a chance. Put yourself out there. If you fall on your face, you fall on your face. Just pick yourself up and keep going. You're gonna make mistakes, and I've made every mistake there is. Um, I just learn from it. If I look at my early editions compared to the ones now, my design is different, my content is different. You just tweak it along the way, and it's little things that make it better each time. And you see what works. You see what designs people are attracted to, see what articles people are attracted to, and that's your model. My model has been um, have some sort of celebrity on the cover. Uh, Mostly people from Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel, Pursuit Channel, but it brought a lot of opportunity. I interviewed Bo Jackson, probably the greatest athlete in our time.
Yep.
Uh, Adam Vinatieri, Joe Montana, Ted Nugent, Travis Tritt. You never know who you're going to meet. Yeah, I mean, the hunting community, when you're talking hunting, the celebrities aren't celebrities. They're like you and me. They're junkies. They're hunting junkies. Bo Jackson has a bow shop in his basement.
Yep.
He does his own bows. He does his own arrows. He does everything. He's like OCD when it comes to that. So we're all the same when you get into the core of it. It's our passion. That's what we do. That's what we live for, and they do too.
Okay, that I mean that's a good segue into something I kind of want to dig into a little bit. Now you've met and interviewed a ton of people. If you could pick one person that you've interviewed that when you talk to them completely blew your mind, that whatever vision you had going in to sit down and talk with this person, that it just totally blew you away or took you in a completely opposite direction?
Well,
It was us.
it's you guys. You guys are awesome. Ted Nugent's always great for sound bites.
Oh yeah.
It's very difficult to control the tempo of the conversation with him.
Yep.
But once he gets going, just let the reins go and let Ted do his thing. He'll do what needs to be done. Awesome interview, chock full of information, tremendous patriot. Can't say enough of what he does for us.
Amen.
I,
I don't even know how to follow up on that.
I thought of a question here. Just listening to you guys go here. Do you have a few foundations, organizations, let's say, that you highly support
Oh
and you
yeah.
think are really crucial
Mm-hmm.
to the outdoor community? I know that I'm sure there's a couple obvious ones, but if you don't mind rattling off a couple that you're either an active member in or you actively support.
I'm on the board of directors for the Northeast chapter of Dallas Safari Club. You guys are in the Northeast. You should be involved with it as well. We're heavily involved in um, outdoor youth education,
Nice.
getting kids back into the outdoors, conservation. We just had a banquet in Mystic, Connecticut. We raised a ton of money. Just spend the night with like-minded individuals,
Yeah.
and it's just sportsmen.
Very good. Very good. No, it's again, it's we're always trying to connect the dots. We have the youth in mind, the
Mhm.
first time hunter, the without some of these organizations, like even like you said, the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the NRA, like there's so many other organizations where
Outdoor
you could literally take
Tomorrow Foundation.
a young boy or girl who's maybe their life is completely derailed and they find this connection in the outdoors, and you don't know how drastic of a change that could be on their life, but it very well
Uh-huh.
can be saving their life. Obviously that's an extreme scenario, but it happens. It does happen.
It, it could really change the trajectory of a kid's life. Outdoor Tomorrow Foundation has several programs in Brooklyn, of all
Yeah,
places.
I believe.
Uh, they're in over 1,300 schools in 48 states and Canada. Um, and they're teaching um, hunter education, fishing education, survival skills, conservation, uh, and the list goes on and on. They have probably 30, 40 different programs that they teach in the schools, and it's all life skills.
Huh?
I mean, let's face it, shit hits the fan. How many people are just going to wither up and die? We're not.
Yeah. They'll make it to like
But
episode 2 or 3 on season 1. That's about it.
All right.
but
They're not going to
yeah,
get to meet. Oh God, who is the guy from The Walking Dead? They're not going to get to meet Negan. Nah, that's for damn sure.
yeah.
Oh,
I actually interviewed a few people from The Walking Dead.
Did you? That's pretty cool.
okay.
I was a big Walking Dead guy. It got a little wild. I think it made it to like season 6 or 7, and it got a little out there.
No,
Yeah, kind of
after.
fell off the rails a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, all right, guys, we got to wrap this up
Yeah.
sometime. But all right. Anyway, producer Chris, back on
All
track.
right,
You do
so
your thing, buddy.
I kind of want to circle back to the interviews while we're here.
Uh-huh.
Now, out of everybody, and I don't want you to name any names with this question because it's going to be a little, I guess, interesting.
All right.
If there was an interview that you did that maybe you went into it with a positive mindset, you had that vision with it, and then it took a turn, and this person was not the person you thought they were. Is that something that's ever happened?
No.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
The outdoor industry is a pretty welcoming community. People are all just who they are. It's so easy to sit down and talk hunting with somebody. Really don't matter who they are. Like last year in Vegas at SHOT Show, I had lunch with Joe Montana and Michael Waddell. Where does that happen? You know?
That's
Well,
a pretty solid lunch.
Friday at 7:30, actually. All right, so I kind of wanted to ask this question: T-Bone Turner.
Yeah.
What's he like? I gotta know.
T-Bone's a cool dude. I mean, he is such a kind person. He is exactly what you see on TV. He's
Awesome.
a nice guy. He's a fun guy.
All right, anybody that knows I'm a fan of T-Bone. I think that he's a great outdoorsman. He's doing great things for the outdoor community. So I'm very happy to hear that that's exactly who he is.
We got to reach out then. What do we got to lose?
I guess you're right. All right, so on a future episode.
You could reach out to anybody in the industry, and more times than not, you're going to get a response.
I would definitely agree with that. I think people don't realize how easily reachable or obtainable communication is, especially like a platform with Instagram. A lot of people will communicate if you go about it the right way. Don't get me wrong. There's a professional way to do it, but a lot of times you will get a response, and that is something. Like I just said, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Send them a nice, polite message. Explain what you're looking to try and do. If they answer, awesome. If they don't, all right, you wait a little bit, then you try them again. You just don't want to.
I'm still trying to get Governor Christie known. I think she would be a great interview.
Yeah.
All right, so digging into the magazine now, you kind of said it's a little hectic, but it putting together an issue. Just kind of run us through what's going through your mind from start to finish. When you get the concept to when it's in print, what's it like?
There's a lot of moving parts. I kind of revolve each issue around who I'm interviewing. Like this coming issue, the April issue comes out in 2 weeks. I have Tim Wells on the cover. Tim is one of a kind. He's exactly what you would imagine. He's a primitive hunter. He hunts with a spear. He hunts with a blowgun. He hunts with a bow. If it's a primitive form of hunting, he'll do it. Slingshot, a knife. How many people do you know that'll kill a bear with a blowgun? And that's insane.
I mean, people around here.
I'm in New York. I don't think you could do anything here. No blowgun, no spear, no nothing.
You actually can't. Chris looked into it. Your old page, the sharp stick, well, that was based around like spear hunting, almost, right?
All right. So I mean, it was more about just getting back to
throwing it back
hunting, even though I was hunting with a compound bow.
Yeah.
My dream was to kill a whitetail with a spear, but again, we live in New York, and yeah.
The key is to hunt private property where nobody knows what you're doing.
Amen. Amen to that.
It's been fun, ladies and gentlemen. Once again,
Yeah.
another moment that's canceled.
What is that? The fence at my door.
Is that
All right.
a flamethrower? What is he doing?
You know, funny you say that.
Oh boy.
I
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I host team dinners, and we raffle off a ton of product. We raffle off guns, crossbows, hunting gear, trail cameras, and the biggest raffle is for the flamethrower.
Why not?
It's like
Why
the
not?
hottest thing. People like flamethrower. I gotta have one.
Absolutely. No garage is complete without a flamethrower.
Hey, come on. We live in a cold climate. You get a big snow. You just pull out the snowblower. You'd be
I've
the
seen
envy of
guys
all your
doing that.
neighbors.
I've seen guys doing it.
You clear your driveway in a matter of seconds. Your neighbors are there busting their ass.
I love it. I love it.
See this? I say it all the time. This is an educational show. That's a
It
life
is.
hack right there.
Well, thank you
But
for me a new life goal. I no longer need a minigun on my Tacoma.
There you go.
and it actually can. If you have a Picatinny rail, it'll hook up to your AR. So you have an extra weapon along with your AR.
Okay.
That's what New York State loves, accessories. Ooh, they
Sure.
look mean.
There's no law against it yet, but I'm sure there will be.
All right. I'm going to take tonight's notes and we'll just get rid of them real quick.
All right, let's just hold my beer.
Yeah, you're our Ted Nugent, Chris, so thanks for that.
But yeah, I kind of form the each issue around who I'm interviewing. Like this issue, I have Tim Wells on the cover. There's a great picture of him with a bear and his dart gun. And Larry Wizoon sent me an article about bear hunting, so it just kind of coincided with that. Well, I have somebody that writes waterfowl and upland game hunting. I have, different contributors specialize in different things.
Okay. Now I'll ask you this on a personal level. When that issue goes to print, is it a feeling of relief for you, or is it a feeling of stress knowing that now I got to do this all over again?
No, actually, it is a relief. I don't print anything. It's all digital. It's all online, which makes it easier. Plus, there's no margins in print anymore anyway. So I have about a week or so to breathe while it's in production, and then I, gotta pick up the phone and start smiling and dialing again, trying to get new business. It's always about new business, but got to keep the revenue rolling. And I already know who's going to be on my following cover. I think it's going to be Pat and Nicole from Driven.
Okay.
After that, I'm kind of up in the air, but I also have a podcast, American Outdoor News Podcast, which was originally started to cross market the magazine. But as you know, people hear podcasts and everybody, they come out of the woodwork. But I've interviewed congressmen and senators, a lot of law enforcement. Some of the Benghazi guys have been on. It allows me to expand my talking points. I try to keep the magazine non-political,
Sure.
except for the Second Amendment section. That's always political. But the podcast, I can talk about whatever I want. I can talk about fringe topics that indirectly affect the outdoors. There's always a lot of two-way issues that the senators are working on and the congressmen are working on, so we could always throw that into the podcast. And a lot of wildlife stuff, trying to delist the wolves again. Some of the congressmen have been on about that. So yeah, it's, there's always something going on. My podcast is weekly. I just interviewed the people from Facts and Arms. That is a true American success story. They were a machine shop that decided to make guns, and here they are, geez, like 12 years later, they make amazing ARs.
There you go. Little ingenuity, and there you go. No, 100%, because again, elections are important. Without making this a political show, which we very easily could, elections are important. They have outcomes, so it's on yourself to do some homework, do some research, try and stay as informed as possible, and you make the best choice you can, because it does directly affect every aspect of your life,
It,
even the outdoors,
it starts
especially.
locally. You got to get out and vote locally
Yep,
because that affects our national down the road.
absolutely. So, yeah, we and Chris got to see the Donald speak at the Great American Outdoors Show. He was the
You
keynote
got to see
speaker.
that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we were
I
only, I
didn't go
mean,
to that.
shit, what were we, 60 yards away, Chris, just to his left at like 9
Oh,
o'clock?
it
It was
was.
pretty cool.
We were very close. It was, and it's. I will tell you this: when you're in the room, like you see it on TV, and it's one thing. You see the packed stadiums. It's okay. When you're actually there and you can feel that energy
It's a
in the room,
It's
vibe.
amazing.
It's a vibe,
it's
without a
something
doubt.
different. So I will. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I've been to a Trump rally, which, yeah, the vibe is amazing. But I also covered a press conference when he was running in 2016. So I got to cover a presidential candidate's press conference, which was pretty cool.
So there you go.
One of
Yeah.
the only media that wasn't hated in the room, because when we were there, the media was absolutely hated.
Yeah. Whitetail 101 had a good question. I don't want to, if we're ready for Q&A.
Well,
we,
I got two more questions, and then we can, if you want, Dave, we'll roll into the open.
Yeah.
Sure.
Open
I'm still down and out with my laptop, but I've been keeping track of the questions. So anybody that has questions for Chris, make sure you start queuing them up now, and Chris will be able to get them relayed, so we make sure we don't miss anybody.
So, all right, the first question that I have is, in the short, what are your goals for the publication in the short term?
In the short term, it's always expanding our reach. We're at 92,000 subscribers at this point. I want to be well over 100,000 by the end of the year.
That's a lot. That's a lot of subscribers. That's great.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I know you have your goals, but when you started saying the numbers, I was like, holy shit, that's a lot. So, I mean, tip of the hat for where you're at this point.
Now, if you had, what are some maybe 5-year, 10-year goals that you maybe have?
Oh, gee, 5 years from now, I don't know. Maybe somebody will buy me up, and I'll just keep the podcast for myself.
All right.
I love the honesty. I love the simplicity. I love it.
Listen, it's a
I'm
great
not a young man
book
anymore, so I can't keep,
to the point, hammer it home.
Well, honestly, I mean, the big shows take a lot of work.
Right.
Going to, I go to Dallas Safari Club show, obviously. That like kind of kicks off the season. That's a big show, but it's not tremendous. Then you go to Vegas to SHOT Show, and that's just bedlam. I walked over 42 miles that week.
Wow.
And, you're hitting as many manufacturers as you can, trying to introduce yourself, get your pitch off, start a relationship, get to know somebody. And you know what? You're not going to sell somebody the first time you meet them. You get a vibe, So you just hang out, talk to them, get to know what they're looking for, get to know their products, do a review here and there. And they might not advertise with you next year or the year after that, but at some point they will. It's about relationships.
100.
And then there's always the point where they hire a new PR firm and they bring in their own people. So the people that you were working with might not work with you anymore because their new PR people don't want you. But it's a vicious cycle.
That's it. It's
That
never.
keeping that Rolodex full though. We started the show with it. That is the most crucial piece that you have for moving forward,
Yep.
without a doubt.
Yep. And then in May, I'm going to the POMA conference in South Carolina, Professional Outdoor Media Association. If you guys aren't members, you really should be, and go to the conference because it's a great way to get in front of manufacturers, get to know their products, get to know the people behind them. Gives you more of a intimate outlook of the companies that you may potentially be dealing with down the road.
All right. Well, thank you for recognizing that we're professionals. I thought we were just a bunch. If we're at that level of professional, then, all right, let's do it.
You step into the industry, you're a professional. This is professional.
There, you heard it. You heard it here first, folks. We are outdoor professionals now.
It's all a mindset. If you act professional and you present a nice show, you're a professional. This is, at some point, this is what you're going to do for a living full time.
Don't let the wife hear that.
Got to go hunting, cover some products, honey. Yeah,
Don't
sure.
No, we're both very lucky. We
know what they do without me.
yeah.
All right.
Chris and Dave for the cover of May. Hey, we happen to know a guy. Maybe
There you go.
that'd be fun. So
All right. So I guess at this point we'll open it up for we like to open it up and have everybody kind of ask questions. So if any of the guests, if you have a question right now, throw it in the chat and we'll get you some answers here from Chris.
yeah, I know Whitetail 101 wanted to know what the process was, if you could talk on how to become a contributor.
You can send me an email to editor@AmericanOutdoorNews.com. An introduction of your background, maybe send me a small sample of your work to take a look at, and we could go from there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Got to be able to write though.
Oh, it's so important. Even so take what we're doing just on Instagram, for example. We have each other's backs, like Chris, Rob, and myself. We're always like, hey, you misspelled something, go change that. Like, punctuation does matter. Proofreading does matter. And
Yep.
editing videos, splicing in the audio, making smooth transitions.
Yep.
You were talking about you can notice the difference between like the earlier editions of your work up until now. Everything's probably a little bit more streamlined. Everything probably flows a little bit better. Without a doubt, if I look at some of the videos that I put together like a year or two ago compared to now, I'm not a professional editor by any means at this point, but it's come a long way just in that year.
You get
And you
to
notice
know
it
the
in the fine
software.
details, the very small things is what you realize.
Yeah.
So simple things like proofreading and just being effective in communicating is huge. I would have never thought I'd be sitting here talking on my phone like this. In a way, it's a form of public speaking, and it took a while to get used to doing it. Took a long time to get used to doing it. It was very awkward in the beginning.
It is.
But
It is.
in
It takes a little
person, I'm
getting used
good.
to.
But Chris will tell you, if you put me on a script, I am horrible. I am horrible on a script.
It's funny you say that. I could do this all day long,
Yeah.
but standing in front of a crowd is difficult for me.
Okay. That's a good topic right there, Chris. How did you feel like in-person interacting? I mean, I was watching, obviously you did great. Did you feel anything different doing it in person as opposed to the show?
Doing an interview in person. Oh, that Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Only Bose, Chris.
I mean, it's public speaking for me has never really been a problem. I guess maybe because I do it so often. Right. Having done various, teaching various classes or doing instruction of any kind over the years, I I just kind of do it. I don't really have any fear of getting in front of somebody and talking. So, to me, it's whether I'm talking to one or two people about, especially about hunting,
Right.
something I love. This is, when I'm getting paid to do it, it's one thing. I'm like, okay, I'm here and I have to teach you this.
Yep.
This is just a passion. Like, that's how this show started. It just started with me and Dave hanging out, talking about hunting, and this is where we're at.
That's how
Right, without a doubt. When that
it
comfort
rolls.
factor is there, you definitely kind of relax a little bit, and you just, like you said, you're talking about things you love, and you have the knowledge on, so it's very easy to grasp from different angles. It's if it's
Yep.
more of a corporate setting, and like you're saying, a business setting, yeah, you can kind of get those oh shit moments. I don't know what to say, but I don't know.
Well,
I didn't have any of
I
those at
could
the show. I promise you that.
I could sit down and interview somebody and be perfectly comfortable because we're just having a conversation.
Right.
But we gave our first Lifetime Achievement Award this year. We actually had a championship belt made up,
Nice.
and we gave it to Larry Wizoon as a Lifetime Achievement Award because if you're a champion for the outdoors, you deserve a championship belt. And
I like it.
and I presented it at the Dallas Safari Club convention, and there was probably 50, 60, 70 people there. And I don't like wearing my glasses. I, I have them here. I don't like wearing them when I'm doing interviews or when I'm speaking. So I had everything written out, but I couldn't see it. So I kind of stumbled on words a little bit, and then I kind of hit my stride, and I kept it short and sweet. But it was a nice presentation. It could have been smoother, but it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Okay.
Watch did have one
Yeah,
question. Good friend of ours.
question this is from Squatch. So who have you not interviewed that if there was one person to pick, who would you interview?
Oh God, love to interview Kevin Costner, big outdoorsman, Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, Joe Perry from Aerosmith, big gun guy.
Okay.
Steven Tyler, also
Now,
big gun guy. He's
now let me
hunted.
ask you this. Now, if you were to interview Matt McConaughey, are you going to let him take his shirt off during the interview, or are you going to insist that he keeps it on the whole time?
I'm going to insist that he keeps it on. He could take it off for pictures afterwards, so people actually read the magazine with him in it. It'll be a shirtless cover.
I'll take my fucking. If he takes his off, I'll take mine off. I'll keep it even. Equal opportunity interviews around here.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
well, there you go, Chris. You got December's cover, Matt McConaughey,
I guarantee you, whatever whiskey he's pushing or whatever tequila he's pushing, we'll sell it.
I'm a
I don't know
tequila
what this is, but he's paying me to drink it. It's damn good. Thanks, Matt.
guy.
So, all right. Well, we almost made it through the show. We almost made it through all the notes without veering off course too bad. So that's pretty good.
all right.
That's the one thing, like, we enjoy doing these lives, because like I said, nothing's obviously, yes, do we have like a show outline? Sure. We try and keep it. The outline's honestly more for me and Chris. So if we end up in one of our rabbit holes, which talking hunting you can very easily do, at least it's a way for us to get back on track a little bit. But, tonight's episode, I wasn't worried about it at all. It's pretty much exactly what I had a feeling it was going to be. And, we appreciate you joining us, honestly, taking the time, putting aside pretty much a full hour at this point, and honestly, just shooting shit with us and getting to know you. And anything we can do on our end with our platform to help support you, by all means, just please let us know. We're definitely interested.
Well, you can subscribe to the magazine. There's always
We're gonna
there's
start doing that.
there's a little something for everybody in there. Whether you're an upland game hunter, bird hunter, bear hunter, hunt Africa. We've had Cape buffalo hunting, African hunting. I even put myself on the cover.
There you go.
It was funny.
Never hurt anybody. All right.
I had a whole history cover that I was going to do about Teddy Roosevelt. And the
Yeah.
guy at the Teddy Roosevelt Museum at the last minute, he just he ghosted me. He didn't come on to the interview. He didn't return any calls or text or anything like that. I'm like, you
Yeah.
mother.
That's
So
odd.
I was kind of scrambling for a cover, and I had an article that I wrote about hunting in Africa. I'm like, what the hell? So I
I'm
put
wrong with that.
myself on the cover.
Hey, it's good to be the king. You can do stuff like that.
Hey, my
Why not?
magazine, my
That's
rules.
it. That's it. Chris is slated to go to Africa. When are you going, Chris?
The last
I've been. I've already been.
Oh,
Are you
yeah,
going, Chris?
Chris. Yeah, he's Chris.
I'm
Chris Lonelybones is going.
You going?
yep.
Who are you hunting with?
I'm going. Red Sky Safaris is who I booked through. Me and my partner John, one of my team guys, and we're going to Whitcomb Safaris.
Um, with a bow or a rifle?
Only bows.
Good for you. Good for you.
Nah,
There's a
he's
lot of great outfitters, and once you go, you're going to want to go back. It's such an amazing experience. Like we go out in the woods and we see squirrels running all over the place. They have monkeys. They're all over.
that's funny. I don't know. It just never entered my radar yet to like travel abroad like that for hunting. I don't know why. I
I
just
think
don't know why.
I think every hunter should go to Africa at least one time in their life.
I appreciate that's a strong statement. So I'll think about it.
All right,
Especially now, like I can
start planning.
actually talk to
Dave,
Chris, see what
5 years,
it's like.
probably 5 years or less. We're going back. We've already started planning
Yeah,
ourselves. So
Awesome.
get
There's so much game to hunt, and they're all over.
right,
You
right,
see impala, you see kudu, zebras. They're all over the place. They're just running wild.
right.
well,
And
I hope
you are helping out
those are
that
my
local area. The price of the tags,
Oh
and
yeah,
it actually you are contributing in a positive way to the direct area where you're hunting. So there is some good that comes with it, without a doubt. A
yeah.
lot of we've talked about that as well. This is not a quote unquote prize trophy hunt, even though it may seem that way. There is a lot that hunter commits to get out there to harvest it, but then everything that you don't see. Think about all the meat, all the revenue that supplies that immediate area.
The meat
So
goes to good
yeah,
use. Like I was
a
supposed
lot
to.
of it doesn't get covered, as much as it should, unfortunately. Like it's the positives to it.
Well, when I went, I was supposed to hunt. It was a two-leg hunt. I did South Africa, and then the rest of my party was going on to Zimbabwe to hunt with Gunny, Arlie Army. I had a family trip planned, so I went to Cabo instead of going to Zimbabwe. But so
It's pretty. That
he,
ain't bad.
it wasn't bad either way.
Yeah.
But he shot an elephant while he was in Zimbabwe, and villagers came from everywhere. They came with buckets, and they literally butchered this thing on the spot. And when they were done, there was nothing left but a blood spot. They
Oh,
took the bones and
oh,
all.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so we did have one last question. It was a little late, and of course it came from Gloria, so we all know that it had to be late.
Hi,
Um,
Gloria.
how do you navigate the balance between your personal experiences and delivering an unbiased content for your publication?
Good
I don't
question.
write the article.
Ah, there you go.
Um, yeah, I write. I do the main interviews. I write the cooking section. Um, the real legwork I leave to the professionals.
Well,
So
me and Dave are professionals, so there you go.
there you go. You guys can send me articles anytime.
So, all right, I guess as we start to wind down, I kind of want to circle back to the beginning. As Dave and I like to get into the minds of the people that we're interviewing as their personal stories. So, what if you have any? What are your personal goals as an outdoorsman? Not just, I guess we could start for maybe this upcoming year. Like, in the short term, what are you looking to do maybe within the next year personally?
As far as hunting,
Sure.
uh, just keep my freezer full. I'm going to be going to North Carolina in October. Do some deer hunting there. Go up to the Adirondack, do some bear hunting in the early season. Maybe get some freezer full of bear sausage. Get a new rug. Just keep active. Past couple of years, I've been guiding in Pennsylvania. So I really didn't get a lot of personal time in the woods, but I got a handful of people out that shot their first deer, and that's just as gratifying.
100%. I just had a couple successful guiding trips this year, and actually was able to put my teammate John on his first bow kill. So
Oh, that's
it
awesome.
when you can help somebody climb that mountain, it's definitely a gratifying feeling.
It's you see the excitement in somebody's eyes when they get their first deer, and you're like reliving it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, really is.
I guess the next question would be longer term as an outdoorsman. What goals do you have down the road?
I would like to start other publications. I'd like to start a homesteading magazine. Um, because that's becoming more and more popular. Um, Learning how to live off the land, um, how to utilize the land, how to farm, how to raise animals for consumption. How, like raising pigs, raising chickens. You got your egg chickens, you got your slaughter chickens. You're not going to slaughter your egg chickens, you won't have any eggs. So you got to separate the two. Actually, I'm going, when I'm in South Carolina at the POMA conference, they have a seminar that I'm going on that talks about exactly this, homesteading and living off your property. So, yeah, I'd like to start another magazine.
Okay.
that would definitely be an interesting topic, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I would get it. I would subscribe to that 100%. Do you do any of that, like homesteading, like as of now, to any degree?
Well, there's a lot of different types of homesteading. There's living off the grid homesteading.
Right.
There's urban homesteading, like I do right now. I live in a normal neighborhood, but I have gardens.
Right.
So I, harvest my vegetables, my potatoes, my onions, and whatnot, and I'll jar my sauce and pickle, whatever. So I have a supply for the year.
Nice.
That, and there's people who homestead in the cities too. They have their gardens on their windowsill or on their landscape, fire escape.
Fire escapes. Yep.
Uh, there's a lot of different ways to homestead. It's not just, okay, I'm going off the grid and living off my property. There's a lot of different levels to it.
I could do that. I could see myself remotely off the grid. And every day I go to work, I'm like, I need to get away from people. Any day I work in Manhattan, I don't know how Chris does it every day. Any day I work in Manhattan, I'm like, I could never come back to here and never see any of you people again. That'd be perfectly fine.
Thank
You know what? Every day I went to Manhattan, I'm like, I effing hate people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Between that, the traffic, just everything. I'm like, you put me on 50 acres with an active stream in the middle of the woods somewhere. I'm
Yep.
good. Let's go. Rock and roll.
All right.
So
I got two more questions for you because, again, Gloria with the late questions.
Gotta love Gloria.
All right. So Gloria asks, have you ever hunted in a location that left such a strong impression on you that you considered relocating there?
Wow. Um,
good questions, Gloria. I give it to you.
kind
She's
of.
trying to now.
Yeah.
Africa left a very strong impression on me, but I would never consider relocating there.
Okay. All right. And then my question, and I ask this of all our guests, what are three things that you have to have in your pocket every time you go in the woods? Besides your license and your weapon, obviously. What are 3 must-haves, no matter what adventure, that you're going to carry with you?
Baby wipes.
I don't know with that.
Solid answer.
Very important. Flashlight and a a field dressing knife.
That'll get you where you
All right.
gotta go.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta be prepared. It's not I'm going into the woods and hoping I get a deer. I'm going into the woods and saying I'm getting a deer.
Right. I agree. It's all about that mentality. You walk in feeling deadly, that's a good place to be. That high confidence level, without a doubt.
Hey, when I walk into the woods, the bears run the other way.
Ah, it's like a Chuck Norris joke in the making right there. I like it. So, all right. Producer Chris from Only Bows. We are reaching that time, buddy. We are at that hour mark, which is the magic number. Chris, our guest, thank you again. I know I said it a couple times, right? But honestly, thank you carving out an hour of your time to join us. It was great to actually face to face get to talk to you. We are in full support from with the Pursuit Live platform and yourself and your company and your brand. Anything we can do, obviously, getting people to subscribe is number one. Anything outside of that, though, please reach out to us, and anything we can do to help you, we will.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. This is really great getting to know you guys. And you have my number. If you need anything, give me a call. If you need some advice with something, anything I could help you with, just feel free to pick up the phone. I'm always available.
Truly
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Chris. If you could, just tell everybody where they can find your content, where they can find the publication. Just kind of give everybody an idea where they can get to you.
Sure. You could subscribe to the magazine and read all of our back issues at AmericanOutdoorNews.com. Our podcast you can find on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, any number of podcast portals. We're on all of them.
All right, there you go. So head over to AmericanOutdoorNews.com, everybody. Hit that subscribe button. Let's do it. So with that, again, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us. This has been great. I definitely, Dave hit it on the head. Thank you for taking the time out to meet with us. This, I had fun tonight. This definitely made a good night for me. And I still got to go. So, but thank you again, and thank you to everybody that checked us out tonight, and thank you to anybody that's going to be listening to this down the road. We still, again, have raffle tickets available for our 2024 charity fundraiser benefiting the American the American Bear Foundation, Wounded Warriors in Action, and the NYPD Archery Team. $20 a ticket. We're well past the halfway mark. Please reach out to Dave or myself to purchase tickets. All the money's going to a good cause. Thank you again to B&B Archery and Targeteers for generously hooking us up with the prize package. And again, it's a 2024 Matthews lift with all the accessories, Delta McKenzie target, ground blind, broadheads, arrows, quiver, stabilizer, sight, rest. We're hooking you up with a top-notch bow, all top-notch equipment, and all the money's going to good causes. So definitely, if you're interested, please hit Dave or I up. And with that, I guess we can call it a night. Chris, again, thank you so much, brother. We'll definitely be talking to you soon. Hopefully, we can have a part 2 of this down the road. Dave, thank you as always for taking the time out.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
As a newly minted professional, I will wish everybody a good night. And we'll see you next 7:30 right here on Pursuit Live. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
See you next time.
Thanks again.